Top of the afternoon to you, or morning, depending on where you're watching from. Art Eddie here for another Life of Dad show. With me, it's my homie, my main man, John Finkel. What's up, man?
Oh, it's Dallas has now turned into Seattle at this point. We've had nothing but rain for weeks. We are 6 weeks into my term as head coach of my son's t-ball team, baseball team. I've sent out 5 game cancellations, so I'm undefeated, 0 for 5 games, and 1.5 practices due to rain. So far, I'm killing it, man. It's great.
Nice, man. I have fun this season coaching. I always love doing that. Looking forward to doing that with my oldest, as I'm going to be like an assistant or a head coach for her basketball team. Let us know where you're watching from. Join the conversation. It's the top 5 worst chores you had to do as a kid. And while I was making this list this week, I'm like, I'm going to be dating myself with some of these things, but it's going to be fun. Can't wait to hear your list. And let us know, everybody, like, talk about either your chores that you hated as a kid or what chores is like the struggle for real for your kids when you ask them to do that. And as always, John, tell us what tell the fine people out there that are watching what the show is being.
Life of Dad show is brought to you by the Life of Dad shop. So we have some pretty cool stuff now. We've been expanding our retail online storefront with all kinds of cool stuff. We have my favorite item in the Life of Dad store ecosystem, which is this awesome trucker hat. I wear it for all of our shows. Sometimes I wear it to work out. Sometimes I just wear it around town. People ask me about it. They ask me what it is. Good conversations piece, but also I have a very small head, so it's one of the few hats that fits me very, very well. So that's always good. I know you have your Life of Dad shirt on right there, and I have my trusty Life of Dad mug, tumbler type of thing. This is actually also probably my favorite thing. So these are my tied for my 2 favorite Life of Dad gear. So if you want to get them, just head over to lifeofdad.com. Also, just while we're here plugging, we have a brand new Life of Dad show landing page. You'll see it right up there on the corner. So if you're ever watching us and you missed one of our shows, or you want to check out some other things that we're doing on the podcast, hit that up as well.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. Yeah, we put that together. You and I, we're working together as a team. I love it. Anyways, people are already chiming in, just giving the wave. We got Susan, we got Katie and Sarah all waving and checking, giving some love. We appreciate that. Yes. Also, too, make sure that you stay for the end of the show, because we might give away some Life of Dad swag again. Last Monday when we were doing the show about parent chores that we hate right now as adults. Yes. We're giving some shirts away. A lot of people were checking in and trying to win. We gave 5 away. A lot of happy people. So make sure you're checking in on that. A lot of things are weighing in right now. I love it. The struggle is real. Christopher, nice job. It says, finding the shoes is the ultimate struggle for my kids. LOL. I'm a sneakerhead, all right? And I always joke around because with my kids and my wife, like, they'll sometimes leave their sneakers not in like their little compartments in the garage and stuff. Now that you live in North Carolina, if the garage is open, you want to make sure that, snakes aren't hanging out in your shoes and stuff like that. So you try and put them away. I'll see their shoes and I'm like, oh man, you kids in your shoes, like, you have so many. And I get the eye roll. I'm like, really, Dad? Let's go to your office and see how many sneakers you got. But that is so true, Christopher. I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm always like, there's a gaggle of shoes, like, and just put them back in your compartment. What are you doing, right?
Yeah. So my thing was, the shoes are funny. So I used to love coming in the house. Like, my old house growing up, we would come in through the garage and I would just kick my shoes off and kind of do that and put them, in somewhere in the garage and go through. And then eventually, as we got older and had a bunch of different shoes, not the thousands of sneakerhead shoes like you have, but you'd have like your running shoes, like football cleats, you'd have your high tops, just randomly through playing sports and through life, you'd have maybe 4 or 5 pairs of shoes, a pair of like Vans or whatever. Not that you couldn't wear Vans now, but I don't have any more Vans, but like, you'd have all these things and you put them away. And eventually, like, part of your chores were putting your shoes. My mom bought like racks. I had the top, my brother had the bottom. And it was putting your shoes away. And it took a second, and they never fit right on the rack. And it was always that annoying thing of like, you actually have to bend down and put them somewhere and keep them in an order. But man, I hated that, dude. I absolutely hated it.
Was that one of on your list or no?
It's not on my list, no.
Okay. So it's an honorable mention. There's some great ones over here, right here. At first, when I was reading, I'm like, wait, what is she doing with her rabbits? What? But it's rabbit pens. Yeah. Cleaning rabbit pens. That sounds like it is pretty bad. Here's another one. Johnny Johnson says shoveling dog poo from Rottweiler Mastiff mix.
Yeah, she had to workout though. At least you get some forearm work in.
James is on point because there's going to be one too where I totally agree. Chores aren't the same as they were when I was a kid. That's for sure. Yeah, we're going to get into that in 1 second. And it's funny how technology has definitely made something that I put on my list that I hated doing. That is that my kids will never have to do just because of the way technology works. Cleaning my bedroom was the absolute worst.
Yes.
Lou's giving a shout saying, yo, brushing my toddler's teeth. That's another thing as parents. That's tough.
Yeah, I think one of the things that when you look at like as a kid, the chores were always tied to like a sucky, time-consuming thing, and so for me, like as I was growing up and more responsibility comes your way. So many of the things that were chores were just normal things you were supposed to take care of, and that's kind of why they suck. Because like I remember, this is an honorable mention on my list, but like making my bed, like I think as an adult, I think it's a really important thing and gets you started for the right day. And there's all these, gurus who say like at least that is one thing you got done during the day. But my argument as a kid was like, I'm just going to mess it up at night. So what's the point? Like, why would I bother making my bed? And then you just get into this circular argument because I said so. Why is it important? Blah, blah, blah. And so I think that's one where you automatically default to the logic of I'm going to sleep in it. It's messy. Same with your shoes. Like I'm going to put my shoes on tomorrow. Why do I have to put them in this rack today? But if you do that, then your whole life falls apart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It quickly devolves into everything's a pain and nothing works and you should do nothing. Why do your laundry if you're going to get your clothes dirty again? Why clean the mirror if it's just going to get dirty again? Like there's just a logic to doing these things that we have to accept as kids.
Lou Bell says getting up and dressed for school. Like one of my daughters, she's like me. She gets up 6 o'clock, no alarm needed. I'm ready. Then my youngest, she's like my wife, where it's like it's a struggle to get out of bed and all that other stuff. So, Marlene weighs in. Doing laundry with an old Ringer washer. I was always afraid I'd get my arm caught. Whoa,
that's old school. I never had to deal with that.
So old school.
Renee, that was my move. Renee, whoever just put this, Renee just said I would make my bed then sleep on top of the covers just so I wouldn't have to make it every day. That was my move. I had an Afghan or like a blanket that I would have next to my bed, so I would sleep on top of my bed with the thing on top of me. And when I'd wake up, I could just throw the blanket that wasn't technically part of the covers of my bed into the closet and shut the door, and then put one arm over and smooth my bed. That's how lazy I was, Renee. You are right after my own heart. Yes, that was a big move in the Finkel household.
No, it's not like lazy. It's like a John hack, a kid hack. So any kids listen to this, there you can thank John for that. Parents maybe not so much, but
yeah. Sean Kingbird, our old friend, says one of my old favorites, which is on my list, the garage. Cleaning the garage. Oh my God, dude, because it just got so dusty, and then especially in New England, the leaves. And then when it would get snowy or rainy, the dirt, and you'd sweep every corner, and you'd have to have your parents pull the cars out so they know exactly how long it took. The garage was just one of, and you have to put like all the basketballs and footballs that would pile up, and your tennis balls, everything would just be in one place. You have to put them in the bin, and then like the oil that would leak on the floor. The cleaning the garage was a nightmare. I agree completely.
Yeah, so true. Cleaning under my bed, that's another one. Cutting the lawn pissed me off as a kid. We talked about on Monday. We love doing that, just getting plugged in and going from there. We love it.
Daniel, I'm a counter on it. I loved it. There was something about mowing my lawn as a kid. And I know I complained about it, but it was just the headphones, the music, nobody's bothering me. At the end of it, I actually did something that looks not good. I never did a good job doing it, but it looked better than it did before we cut it. I was a fan of mowing the lawn.
Here's one of mine. Mine is this is kind of stupid because it's like you gotta have food to eat, but like my parents, and it was always like, oh, we're going out and all that stuff. We're gonna go out to dinner by ourselves and go grocery shopping. That was like their date night. I'm like, that's kind of lame, but like sometimes like I can kind of see to get away from the kids and just do their thing. This is when we were like, I was like in middle school, whatever, and it was like, all right, you can leave the kids at home and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When they would come home, they'd always come home late and be like, all right, 10, whatever, and just kind of want to do something else. I'd have to put all the groceries away. And I just remember like it would be like maybe if it was a week shopping, it wasn't too bad. But if it was 2 weeks, it's like,
dude, that's a good one. I actually forgot about how much I hated. So your mom or dad would go out.
No, they go out together, and then like they would like as soon as I heard the garage door, it was like I was a Pavlov dog. Go downstairs. If I was playing Mortal Kombat on my Sega Genesis, nope, not anymore. I had to run downstairs, help them open up the trunk of the van, and it was funny. One of my wife's sister-in-law, she calls a van a grocery getter, and that's so true. Like that's one of the names you can call a van. You know, like instead of an SUV. Like any SUVs or vans are like they're grocery getters because that's what you do as a family. Get an SUV or van, you bring groceries home. But remember, like taking the milks, putting them in the fridge, and like I guess it kind of got me ready for my job when I was working in the produce department because I always have to like take the stuff from that was old and bring it forward for the fridge and put all the new stuff out back. And then like we couldn't open the new cereals until we finished the other ones. We had to put the cereals behind the ones that are already open. So it was like I am very like detail oriented, and so I got that from my family or my parents. And that was the thing where it's like, oh crap, they're home. I gotta take care of the groceries.
So did you have this on the
food for me, right?
Yeah, no, on the grocery front. So I had the same thing. My mom would go grocery shopping. My brother and I would hear the garage door. We basically hide to see who'd have to do it. And then you hear the door open. You hear the door open, and you hear like my mom like struggling with a bag because between two of us, especially when we got older, it was like just an absurd amount of food that we would eat. So it was all this milk and all the lunch meat and everything. But my mom would usually surprise us. Somewhere in one of those bags was like 2 donuts from grocery store or like an Entenmann's thing or some kind of treat, right? And I remember, we were jerks plenty of times, especially as teenage boys, where like you go out and do all the helping and you start unpacking all the stuff from the bags, and all of a sudden look around and be like, no donut, or like, what, you didn't get anything? And she'd be like, I asked one of you to come with me and you said no, or last night you said this and you mouthed off or whatever. And then it would make it even worse. Like the only silver lining was like, well, I'm going to do all this, but there might be 2 chocolate frosted donuts for me at the end. And when there was nothing and you helped, even though you're right, it was all food for you, but you just got hosed because there's nothing actually to benefit, no dessert to benefit from. That was a tough pill to swallow, man.
Yeah. So again, like I put that on, like we're doing 5. I put it on the bottom because obviously you had to have food to eat. Your parents were paying for it. I wasn't paying for it, but just still something like I hated doing. What was your number 5, man?
My number 5, and this is funny, it's one chore, but I divide the 2 parts of it. So I never had a problem washing my parents' cars. Like I didn't mind it. Usually it was nice out. I'd put my boombox on, be ripping some LL Cool J while it was really cool. Maybe some other, girl from high school would drive by, come on over, hang out. It was great. But I hated cleaning the inside.
Detailing, yep.
Passion. I hated the dust buster part. I hated the mats. I hated the Windex on the inside. Like, so it's funny. Like, I loved the outdoor showy, getting a little water on you, cooling off part. Hated the last part of the inside. It's hot. The Windex is sticking to the inside of the window. You're using the Armor All on the wheel and the dashboard. So I know it's one chore, but part 1 of the outside was one of my favorites. If I had to pick one, which I still enjoy washing my own car.
Yeah.
But my least favorite part, which is on my number 5, is having to do the interior of the car, man. Hated every second of
it. Oh, that's fantastic. Here's another thing too. Sean Kimbert says, dusting the huge TV we had back in the day with those huge entertainment centers. My mom passed away a few years back, but my dad, when I went to go visit him, he still's got that monstrosity. And it's like, I was looking at all the dust stuff, like, man, if I was still here, I'd have to dust it out and all that stuff. So that is very true. This is another thing too. Emily goes, anyone else's kids stuff things in their closet and you find a giant mess of objects molded together? Yes, I do.
That happens all the time, Emily. we've all been there.
Mary, this is on my list. This is number 3.
Yes.
Besides weeding, I had to weed the garden. And when I was growing in New Hampshire, it was called the Granite State for a reason. It was really hard to grow things. We're trying to grow strawberries and some other things in our backyard. But one of my chores after I was done mowing, which I loved, but then I had to weed the garden.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hated that.
Weeding.
Yeah. Or sorry, one other thing, did you have a brick walk?
That's what I was about to say. Yes.
Yes.
The weeding of them, we really didn't have that. Where I grew up, now weeding is the worst. I have to do every couple of weeks. I hate it. The house we have now is just an annoying house for weeds in the front lawn. growing up, the front lawn was not a problem. Our walkway, we had a really long driveway and a really long walkway from the driveway. And it was kind of cobblestone or what flagstone or whatever. And there was just tons of weeds between each stone. And that would be your back. Even as a kid, your back would hurt, your knuckles would hurt, your fingernails would get gross. And then you'd like try to get them from the, from the little part where it would pull all the root out, but it wouldn't happen. And you leave these, weeding is my number 4 also. Hated weeding.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, you feel my pain. This one didn't happen a lot after we got a better sump pump, but in our basement we would have if there was rain or especially when it would snow, and then all of a sudden the huge like snow drifts that we had would melt. There would be leaking in the basement. I had to shop vac. My dad and I would take turns, but I hated shop vacuuming the basement, and it was just not only was it like just it would always happen at night. I was like, I gotta go downstairs and do it. But then when you're cleaning it up, it would almost be like that. I'm getting like goosebumps on it now too. Like it'd be nails on a chalkboard when you're dragging the plastic hose or like the little cleaner thing, like the attachments. Yeah. I'm like, I hate this. You have that like nails on the chalkboard. So I'm like, this is like one of Dante's Inferno layers of hell. If I go to hell, hopefully I don't, but this would be one of them. Like, all right, I gotta shop vac and hear that noise.
Yeah, shop vacs are always rough. I didn't have to really do that till I got like to college and we had to clean, your dorm or whatever with the shop vac. But yeah, the basement, any kind of I didn't really do a lot of the vacuuming, which I never really liked having to do it. Fortunately, I think my mom did it back then. But like, there was just a thanklessness to it because, like, at least the lawn, you're outside, like you're inside. We were talking about Tim Allen, like you wanted to get it done as fast as possible. So vacuuming is not on my list. This is one that I always used to hate. So like, I didn't have to do my own laundry when I was a kid, but I did have to fold it and put it away.
Yeah.
So looking back, like, I hated having to put stuff like I didn't care if my drawers were messy. I didn't understand why socks had to be together or underwear or whatever. So I just wanted to dump everything in there. But my mom was really strict on that kind of stuff and would make us fold all our stuff and put in there. And I hated that, especially like workout shorts, which like you pull one pair of mesh shorts out and the whole drawer is already messed up. So to this day, my one drawer of like workout clothes is just stuff I throw in there and it still remains unfolded as a fight against the 13-year-old me.
Nice. This is true too. I love this. I'm glad you brought this up. A lot of people are bringing up some old stuff that's got me going. The best place to clean up was my grandma's house. Any money I found was yours. Awesome snacks that she would give us. Great. Then Emily flips the script and says, no, not my grandma. She had creepy stuff that was gross and candy and wigs. No, thank you.
That's disgusting. Yeah, when I visit Florida, my grandparents lived in Florida all growing up. And when we go there, we'd have certain chores. They were just stuff to help out, stuff to help out with. And it was always sweeping the garage, which their garage in Florida had salamanders all over the place and things like that. And then the other thing was cleaning their like old backyard furniture that they had in the Florida screened-in Del Boca Vista place, just with a hose and like water. That was always gross. And we'd get to go to my own grandfather was awesome. We go to the dog track and he'd give us like $5 a day on dogs. That was always awesome.
Nice. All right. So I did weeding the garden, shop vac, putting the groceries away. So I'm up at number 2. How many are you at? 3 or 4? Have you given your third?
We did 2, the washing the inside of the car, the folding the clothes. 3 we did was the shoe rack. We pulled that one. For me, 3 was putting my shoes on a rack. For some reason, I don't know if it was a visceral thing or I just felt like it was a waste of time, but I absolutely hated putting my shoes on a rack. So that was my number 3, even though we touched upon it earlier.
All right. This is the one that's definitely going to date me just because of just because you're going to find out. My second one was cutting coupons for my family. Like my mom would like we get the Sunday, we would get the Sunday paper and with all the ads and all that other stuff. And she would put it was a highlighter and it would just be like, all right, if she highlighted and there was like stacks upon stacks of coupon stuff. So I would just sit maybe in front of the TV, but I'd be cutting the coupons. And if I wasn't paying attention, I'd hit the barcode and I'm like, crap. So that was the thing. Cause now it's like you have coupons on your phone and you can just show the store, like, hey, such and such store has it this price. Can you match it? Yeah, sure. So all the coupons are now through your phone, but cutting the coupons was real back in the day, man.
Yeah, I remember watching like my mom cut the coupons for whatever reason. Maybe my scissor skills weren't up to snuff on that kind of thing. So I didn't have to, I luckily did not have to do that, so I don't think I could. I can't share anything, but it looks like that was that's not a fun thing to do. Anything with coupons, even to this day, I don't. They're just we say just make the prices what they are and just let you live your life.
This is great. Someone Rand just got everybody's attention. My grandma would pay me like $20 to wash 2 plates. and then like where was it? Jacob goes, every boy hates doing dishes. I'd rather clean a toilet. And it's like, what the hell, Rand? Your grandparents were super in love with you or something?
Yeah, that's an amazing amount of money to clean dishes. So somebody mentioned it earlier, but I didn't have to do this until as my number 2 on my list until I was probably in high school. But it was to clean the bathroom. Like, so I mean, nobody wants to clean the bathroom, but between me and my brother, and like, there was just puddles of pee behind the toilet, and like the mirror was just covered in, toothpaste splash and all that kind of stuff. And so we would just rotate like every week or two, you'd have to do it. And you'd think having to clean it would make us more conscious between the times of cleaning the bathroom. But what it really did was it was like, oh, my brother's cleaning this time. I'm peeing everywhere. And then he would get back at me rather than like a quick truce of like, hey, if the 2 of us just keep this clean, the cleaning part of the bathroom will not be hard. It was, oh, my brother's turn. I'm not even going to look where I'm going. I'm just all over the place. I'm going to walk out. He's going to have to deal with whatever this is behind the toilet. So that was just awful having to do that. So that would be my number 2, Adam, is the number 2 dealing with the bathroom.
Gotcha. This is real too for me now. Granted I'm bald, so I got no hair. But my daughters, when they brush their hair and all that stuff, the hairbrush, that is so true. Like I'll have to, try and take a Q-tip or whatever and just get the hair out of there. So I feel that. Rand says he was named after her husband, the grandparents, I guess. That's awesome.
No, Rand's great. Yeah.
My number 1, and I mentioned this on Monday when we were talking about chores we hate to do as parents, but my number 1 was cat litter, just because it was downstairs in the basement, had to walk upstairs, throw it in the toilet and all that other stuff, flush it, and then come back down. And it was always like all 3 of us, my 2 older sisters and I, that was like our job, one of our jobs, but I was the only one probably doing it. So it just sucked. I hated doing that. What was your number 1, man?
So my number 1, it may be a little unique. So we used to have in our setup, we had a lot of woods like around us and stuff like that. And so one of the things you have to do is always sweep. We were talking about raking the leaves earlier. So in terms of the sheer amount of time and complete uselessness that it would take, once the fall hit and the leaves would start coming down around the property that we had, which was, we were in the kind of the woodsy part of New Jersey, it was just an obscene amount of leaves, just a crazy, crazy amount of leaves that would take, I don't even know, dozens of giant leaf bags, which were also doing it. So not only was raking leaves bad, but somehow it would always happen that the day I would set aside to do it, it would like rain before. And it'd be that first early part of fall where it was kind of cold, but not really cold. And it'd be an entire day out there raking, putting the leaves in there. There was all these bugs and the things. And you'd end up with bag after bag after bag, those big giant lawn bags, And at the end of it, for a brief moment, you'd look around and be like, oh, the lawn looks great. And then you'd wake up the next day and the other part of the woods, the trees that were a little on the interior would still be dropping leaves. And it looked like half the lawn wasn't even touched, man. It was the worst. It was just a thankless waste of time, but I did it every year. So for me, it was raking the leaves only because it wasn't even that hard. It just didn't feel like you do it, and it was the next day exactly as bad as it was the day before.
It's like Groundhog. It's your version of Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
A lot of great comments. Love this. We always appreciate you guys checking out the show. Monday when we come back, we're gonna be having Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s quick Life of Dad quick 5 on there as well. And we're gonna be talking about like favorite dad cars or just cars in general, right?
We'll talk about, I think we could even do 2 shows. I thought we could do like, maybe people can weigh in here. One episode, like your favorite famous cars, like from TV shows or movies or things like that. But it could also be one show, or like the car you were dying to have as a kid, or at least as you got to be a teenager. I have 2 in my head that if I could snap my fingers right now and drive them, I would. And they're not even cool or expensive cars at all. They're just the cars I wanted when I was 14.
Nice. So we're going to get into that, and make sure you stay tuned on Monday, because we're going to have the Life of Dad quick 5 with Dale Earnhardt Jr. John, always a pleasure chatting with you. Cutting it up on a Wednesday.
Yes.
You guys have a good rest of the week, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.